Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League showcasing another very powerful team featuring Serperior. Now this is a team that I created early on this season and I wanted to revisit it toward the tail end of this season to give you guys a refreshed look of the team. So Serperior will be the safe swap on this team along with Cresselia, as we can see here in the back. Particularly as the closer, it's not the best safe swap in the meta, so I would never recommend safe swapping it in the Great League. And Umbreon rounding out the team. So the team is designed to address a lot of the very common leads that we see in the Great League. Lickitung, Deoxys, Alolan, Sandslash. Umbreon addresses all of those on the lead. Yeah, I had to revisit one of my best teams this season to help you guys out that are still looking to do a late season push. But here we go. Lanturn lead. This is pretty neutral, fairly neutral for Umbreon. We do win this in the zeros, but we've got two really good answers to Lanturn in the back. So we're just sort of feeling them out a bit, getting a good idea for their play pattern. They're happy to stay in, so we decided to pivot into our Serperior here, and they meet us with a Serperior of their own. So from a team reading perspective, seeing this here, I'm thinking it could be the ever so popular Lanturn double grass line with Serperior and Venusaur in the back. So with that in mind, we are actually going to look to take switch here. We are well ahead on energy as that Lanturn stayed in a little long, got a little greedy, wanted to bank a ton of energy. And we're going to take full advantage of this energy lead here. And just go for these aerial aces, of course, and I'm going to see what they want to do here. They probably need to keep switch, but it's just not possible with this much of an energy lead here. All we have to do is shield this and just match shield from here on out, and we will easily be able to take out this Serperior. With such a bulky team, that's another thing. You don't have to be too strategic with your shields. You can sort of allocate the shields where necessary, given the situation. So they do come back in with the Lanturn. We do take out the Serperior. They go for a Surf, and they probably should have gone for a Thunderbolt and Farm Down. I think that would have been more efficient, but I don't mind them dumping their energy. That is perfectly fine with me, and the team read was spot on. It is the Lanturn double grass line. The reason why I really wanted to flip switch and keep switch, hold on to it to control the alignment, is because Cresselia does not perform very well up against Venusaur. So we had to have Umbreon on the Venusaur and the Cresselia on the Lanturn, of course. And they let us get an entire Snarl through for free, so we'll take that as well. And they are back to back here. We're going to shield this one, and one more Snarl. We will be at the back-to-back foul plays. One will undoubtedly get the shield, and the next will be sealing the deal, I presume, on this match here. They do shield that one, but we had another one locked and loaded. And this is absolutely going to be taking out the Venusaur, and now we have the Cresselia left for the Lanturn. And that, my friends, is the textbook way to beat a very common line that we see in the Great League. Good game, well played to them. Umbreon, such a good lead for this open Great League meta. Addresses a lot of things, but definitely not in Azumarill. We're going to immediately safe swap into our Serperior, and it looks like they're staying in a little bit, which I found to be very interesting. I'm picking up that they're going to want to chip and dip us, and whenever I pick up on that, I do like to shield to preserve health, and we do have the energy lead on whatever they decide to bring back in. In this particular case, it is a Medicham here. So with Medicham, you have to go Frenzy plus Aerial Ace to take out a Medicham, so they do let the Frenzy go, and now we're going to go for the Aerial Ace here on the Medi. And they should probably shield this because they should want to hold on the switch, knowing that we have an Umbreon and they have an Azu. Gonna let this go. We do survive an Ice Punch from this health range, no problem, and we will easily make it to another Aerial Ace here, which we do, and we're gonna go for this here and see if they want to give us shield advantage. If they do, and they do, we're gonna actually let this go, but they throw energy, which is even better for us here. They might have lost track of the energy. They definitely could have farmed down, but I'll take it, no problem. So we're just gonna bring in Cresselia here, knowing that they gave up both shields to control alignment, and we're gonna go for an aggressive and ambitious farm down. But I think at the time, my rationale was that I think it's worth it. Unless they have a steel type lurking in the back, there aren't too many things in the Great League that are going to want to take this energy. So this is a bit inefficient in terms of energy management, but I think the loaded energy is going to be quite beneficial. I'm banking that there is not a steel type lurking, and whatever they bring in is going to get hit pretty hard. It's a Trevenant, and we are absolutely loaded. Going to go for the Moonblast. We do need 2 of these to KO the Trevenant, but that over farm and farm down on the Medi is going to allow us to do that. And we are still healthy enough to threaten the Azu that is lurking, but for now we're saying bye-bye to the Trevenant. And we will be able to make it to a Grass Knot, of course not going to KO. But we'll be doing some very meaningful, super effective damage to this Azumarill here. And now we will just bring in Umbreon to finish off the Azu, up a shield. This should be no problem for our Umbreon here. Gotta let this go. We survive a play rough, super effective, quite comfortably Umbreon about as tanky as it gets. And I do believe we are in cruise control here. We could even let another play rough go through and still finish us off without having to shield, and they recognize that. They do promptly top left. That's going to be yet another good game. Well played to them. Yeah, this is easily one of my best teams this season, and it really has helped a lot of people achieve their goals very early on. But here we go, Pelipper. So the problem with this lead is it often has at least one steel type in the back, generally a Registeel and another steel type. So I'm reading that there is at least one steel type. It's usually double steel. So we do win this, but generally you want to save Umbreon for that steel type. We're letting all this go. We win up against Pelipper in the 0s, 1s, and 2s, so there is no scenario where we do not beat Pelipper here. That's not the problem, but there's a Medi there. So it doesn't appear to be double steel at the moment, but we do have an excellent answer to this Medicham, and we're going to meet this with Cresselia. Because if it's a modified version of the Pelipper double steel line, you definitely want to clear Cresselia and get it out of the way. And what better Pokemon to do that with than a Medicham? Cresselia, of course, one of the best answers to Medicham in the entire meta, which is why we have it to back up Umbreon on this team here. They can just go straight Ice Punch all they want. It's not going to help them one bit, and we're going to look to put this poor Medicham out of its misery with a Grass Knot. I'm not expecting a shield here. They do not shield, and down goes the Medicham, and there's the Reggie. Oh, I get this question all the time with this team. What do you do with Reggie? Let's find out, guys. So we're going to go for the Moonblast and hope for an attack drop. That would be quite nice for us, but we don't get that, of course, and they're not going to allow us to get off another move here. They're going to throw some energy, and it is the big Zap Cannon that does KO. And now Umbreon's a little low, but has loaded energy. We're going to bring Serperior in here. That Pelipper is still pretty healthy, and you guys are about to see the power of Serperior in the Great League. Holy smokes, let's go. We're going to shield this. We have to shield everything from the Reggie. And you just go straight Frenzy Plant up against Registeel, and although it's resisted, Frenzy Plant is absolutely busted and has stab, and really begins to add up, as you can see here. They didn't like that. They pivot into the Pelipper, so we're actually going to look to get a shield back or do some meaningful damage on the Pelipper. They shield back, so that is fantastic. And we are going to look to combo play and dispense of this loaded energy that we have. They do let that one go, and they're throwing energy, recognizing that we had the back-to-back. This is absolutely perfect. We get another Vine Whip worth of energy here. And now we are even shields, we have the health advantage, and we outpace this Registeel, going for another Frenzy Plant. And it'll be interesting to see if they give up a shield here. They do, recognizing the power of Serperior, grabbing a shield from the Reggie. You absolutely love to see it, and we will shield this and easily outpace this Reggie to yet another Frenzy Plant. And this will be all she wrote for everyone's favorite tin can man. Holy smokes, we're saying bye-bye to the Reggie. And that, my friends, is how you handle Reggie with this team. Provided it is in the back, a lot easier in the back to handle, but we did it nonetheless. Good game, well played to them. So if you have all three of these Pokemon, maybe you're doing a late season push, want to climb a little, you might want to give this team a try. But here we go, another Pelipper lead, deja vu. Hello, another one, but here we go. We're going to play this the same. So I did mention in the previous Pelipper lead, we do win this in all evens. If you want to win the zeros, however, you do have to go straight last resort. But you never know if the opponent is committed to playing the zeros. So we let this go. And the problem is we're going foul play here. So I was expecting at least one shield, but they're staying in. I'm thinking they have to know the matchup and they have to know if they lose this, but they go straight Hurricane and we went straight foul play, which means that we don't win the zeros if we do that. So again, it's a call. You just don't know if the opponent is committed to playing zeros. So we like to just let Umbreon go, get the energy lead on Serperior, and there's the Reggie right on cue. Like I said, if you see a Pelipper, guys, in the Great League, you can almost bet the house that there is at least a Reggie in the back as well. So that is what we see here. Gonna shield the potential Focus Blast here, as we do have to commit shields in this matchup to get it done. And we're going to go for another Frenzy Plant here, and then look to maybe catch a resisted Focus Blast if we can. We have to wait a turn, and we do make that catch onto Cresselia. I didn't want to go down 2 shields because I wasn't sure if it was that Medicham variation of the line or if it was the classic double steel version. And I wanted to preserve Serperior if that was the case, because the second steel is classically a Stunfisk. So that's why we did that there, making that very clutch and skillful catch, I might add, onto Cress was quite nice. We just let all this go, and we do get a very unfortunate attack drop, which means that we can't quite resist and farm down this Reggie. We're going to have to throw some energy. And they're just committed to letting the Reggie go down. It seems it is that Medicham modified version. Who put out a modified version of this line? It's very interesting. Saw it quite a bit during these battles, as we can see here. And now we're going to bait with a Grass Knot, evening up the shields. And we're going to bait again to see if we can get that last shield. Expecting a shield, knowing that most Serperior trainers go for the Frenzy first, but they let that go. Oh, which was very annoying. Would have been nice to get the bigger damage with the Frenzy. But yeah, it's coming down to the wire, and these counters seem to be really adding up more so than normal. Perhaps this is an attack-weighted Medicham here. And yeah, they do just counter us down. So this one is not going to go our way. Maybe zigged when we should have zagged in a few spots, but I don't think we could have played it much better. The best we could have done was maybe read that they were just going to soft lose lead. But yeah, we couldn't quite get that one done. Good game, well played to them. Yeah, this team absolutely puts in the work. Definitely one that I'm very proud of for this season. And here we go, A/, guys. This is what this team was designed to beat, this Alolan Sandslash team here, which classically has a Medicham and an Umbreonl in the back. I'm sure we all know by now and can recognize this team. It's all over the place. And this is why this team was designed, as I mentioned, to beat this team. It is quite comfortable here, especially when they're running Shadow Claw, but even if it's running Powder Snow, Umbreon does have a very solid victory over A/. They shield and swap into the Medi, and we had just the answer for the Medicham coming in the form of Cresselia. And if they have the Umbreonl on the classic variation in the back, Serperior will absolutely put in work there. But the way I like to play this mid-game matchup here is go for the Moonblast. They generally let it go, especially when they're down a shield. But I like to overload and allow the Medicham to beat up on us a little bit, get us low on health so that we don't give that Alolan Sandslash any more farm than necessary. So that's exactly how we're going to play this out here. We're just overloading, letting the Medicham throw its moves, and we will go for a Grass Knot here. I thought about undercharging it, and I didn't commit to the no bubble. We should have committed to the no bubble. Because we do leave that a little bit healthier than I wanted to, but we're still okay. We do have energy stored here. And when they bring back in the Alolan Sandslash, you go for that Moonblast, although resisted does some very meaningful resisted damage, often forcing them to throw, and we get a very clutch attack drop to add insult to injury, and we just let that go. And we bring in Umbreon, and it's the Sableye variation. So this is another variation that you can see with Sableye in the place of Azumarill, and that's even better for this team because they are core broken by an Umbreon lead. They go for the Hail Mary return, but we were going to make it to 2 moves, and that was going to be all she wrote for that poor little Sableye there. They top left. Good game, well played to them. Also, one of the bulkier teams in the Great League, which is never a bad thing. But here we go. Gligar lead. Yet another lead that Umbreon does quite well in, particularly in the 0s and 1s. We do not win the 2s. So we are playing with that in mind, but Gligar can be quite the menace in the Great League, and we want to keep it far and away from our Serperior. Of course, we do wait a turn, because a lot of these Gligar trainers love to get off that damage and then slip out unscathed, not allowing that to happen. So we do want to get that damage in on the Gligar and go for another foul play here. We're happy to play out the 0s and perhaps even the 1s if it comes down to it, as those are where we win. And they seem happy to just let all this go, and we're going to take full advantage of that, go for another foul play and see what they want to do. They do shield, so that is okay, and they do try to slip out there. I knew that was coming into a Lickitung, and we're going to meet this with our Serperior, not only because it's a very good matchup for Serperior, but also because our Cresselia is not running Future Sight. If you want to have any chance up against Lickitung, you do need Future Sight on Cresselia. So we do meet this. This is the alignment. But again, Cresselia does quite well up against Licky. Licky does not like the Community Day Frenzy Plant users, and we are going to take full advantage of that. We're going to shield this. Not looking to play out the 0s with Licky because we don't win there. And we're just going to overload as much as possible and go for another Frenzy Plant here. If they want to shield, that's fine. But no, they let it go down, and that is A-okay as well. And they're going to throw immediately on this Gligar. So not sure what they could have in the back, but Gligar leads often have at least a Medicham in the back. Often has a Licky as well, which we already saw. The Licky's gone, but perhaps there is a Medi in the back, maybe even a Lanturn. Either one, Cresselia will do just fine. They do get off a dig, and there's the Medi, so it's the Medi variation here. Gonna just chip this, and Cresselia can clean this endgame up. No problem here. The Gligar is hanging on by a thread, and yeah, we've all seen the story many times over in this video already with Cresselia on Medicham. It does not go very well for Medicham, and they can throw all these ice punches. They can throw those all they want. It's not going to help them one bit. Going to go for the Moonblast here, and they had to call a bait, but even if they did, it still was not going to go well for the Medi. That does massive damage, and these ice punches are just tickling our Cresselia here. And all we have to do is make it to back-to-back Grass Knots. If they want to put up a fight, they will likely shield this Grass Knot here, but we have the back-to-back. If they do want to go down with the ship, they do want to go down with a fight, and that is okay because we've got another Grass Knot locked and loaded here. We're saying bye-bye to the Gligar, courtesy of Cresselia. One shield flexing on the Gligar team. You love to see it. Good game, well played to them. It is absolutely astounding at how many leads Umbreon wins in the Open Great League. But here we go, Swampert. This is okay. We do win the 1s here, but we've got 2 excellent answers to this Swampert here. So at some point we will want to look to pivot out of this matchup here, but we're going to look to chip it first here and see what they want to do. Often they will give U-Switch, and they do right there, right on cue. I wasn't expecting a Charmer, so I kind of react rather than, I didn't meet this with the right answer here, and this is looking like it could be double Charm. Generally, if they swap in one Charmer, Charmers are not known to be good safe swaps. That's a good indicator that there could be another one lurking in the back. But ideally, you will want to meet a Charmer with your Cresselia, as it can better absorb this heavy charm damage with stab. But we will grab shields on the way out nonetheless, and we do, as they generally have to play for alignment with this sort of team here. And now we will bring in Cresselia. Should have done that at the start, but we kind of just reacted with Serperior, but we did grab the shields, which is very nice. And we will look to get to a Grass Knot here, but they've got a Hypno in the back. Holy smokes, I was not expecting to see that. My goodness. And they aggressively pivot into it, knowing that we had a Dark type coming in the form of Umbreon, and that is fantastic. Cresselia is still very healthy, has loaded energy, and we get to align our dark type onto this Hypno. This is a very dominant matchup, if you can imagine, for Umbreon, as with our dark typing. Not only are we resisting this confusion damage, we are double resisting it with our dark typing. And after 2 foul plays, you can easily just snarl down the Hypno and absolutely load up on energy. It does not look like they are running Focus Blast, so no need to be cautious there. And we do get that snarl down. The Swampert does have energy, but Umbreon about as tanky as it gets. Unless it's Earthquake, we will survive. And we do, and we did hit the last resort, only making it to 1 move here. Or we only intend to throw 1 move, I should say. So we throw the harder hitting move, and we wait for them to throw a Mud Shot to snipe this annoying Swampert with the Grass Knot. We say bye-bye, Swampert, and we will easily make it to a Grass Knot here to dispatch of this disgusting Shadow Charmer here. We say bye-bye to the A9 as well. Cresselia left standing in the end. 1 shield flexing. Yet again, the Great League, you'd love to see it. Good game, well played to them. Always have a fun time with this very strong Great League team. And here we go. Golbat. A bit of an unconventional lead in the Great League, but we're staying right here, of course, as Golbat is an absolute nightmare for our 2 Pokemon in the back. So we're happy to see this on the lead, and they can just go straight Poison Fang in this matchup, as Shadow Ball, of course, is resisted. And we will go for foul play number 1 here. And we are waiting a turn. I want to get damage on this thing. I don't want them slipping out unscathed. So that's, if you pick up on that, you'll notice that we wait a turn. Once we have our move, we do wait a turn there to get off the damage. We have to have this thing take damage, because if they do want to slip out of this matchup, we want it to be in a manageable health range for our 2 Pokemon in the back. So that's the play there. They could hit us with a Shadow Ball. We are double debuffed, but we still survive. Holy smokes. And we've got a Medi. So we do get this chip damage here, and that counter did register, so we should go down to that counter. But the Golbat is in a manageable range. That was the goal with that thing, and we did achieve that. So now we bring in the Cresselia here onto the Medicham, and of course, again, we've seen this story time and time again, which is why we've got Cresselia on this team, guys. Medicham, one of the most heavily utilized Pokemon in the entire Great League. You gotta have something that can address it. And that is precisely what we do in spades with our Cresselia here. And we do get a very clutch attack drop, which is never a bad thing here. And they are shielding our Moonblast, which is very interesting to see. As even if they do shield, it's not going to go well for the Medicham here. And they are double shielding, trying their best. They were stalling. That's what they were doing. They had a Basti in the back, but we've got a Serperior to meet this Basti here. Serperior can do quite well up against Bastiodon because the neutral frenzy plants really add up and we thoroughly outpace. Not to mention our 2 shield advantage here. We're quite alright. All we have to do is shield everything from the Basti. Of course, they can hit us with super effective flamethrowers, but that's what shields are for, my friends. And now we will just look to go for the Frenzy Plants with proper timing here on the Basti. Going for Frenzy Plant number 2. You do need about 3 of these to take out a Basti, plus the Vine Whip damage. But I'm keeping an eye on Switch Clock. We have to shield this. They're forcing a shield here, and I'm not quite sure. It's not up for us, which is unfortunate. They are able to successfully combo play here, so hats off to them. They're playing their best, trying to play out of this here. We're just going to throw this to chip the Medi, and I know the Serperior will be just fine. We wanted to chip it within farm down range, because we will need a couple of Grass Knots for that Basti. Although it is in the red, Basti is the bulkiest functional Pokemon in the meta, so it does survive damage quite well. So we're going for Grass Knot number 1 here. Their Switch Clock should not be up, so we can throw just fine here. It's fine, not throwing proper timing, because this Grass Knot will say bye-bye to the Basti. And now it's a race. The timer is approaching. Holy smokes, but we make it to the Grass Knot in time. Although double resisted, it's enough to take out the Golbat. We say bye-bye to the Golbat as well as the timer counts down. What a finish. Holy smokes. again, big hats off to that opponent. They played out of their mind to try and play out of that, but yeah, we did not allow that to happen. That is the team, my friends. So yeah, one of my best teams this season. I thought it would be fitting to have one last look at this team for those of you who might be looking for a good team to put you over the edge. If you're still looking for a late season push, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to review this team. The team was initially designed to address a lot of the very common leads that we see this season in a Great League, that being Lickitung, Alolan, Sandslash, Deoxys, Gligar, you name it, Umbreon can address it. We just had to back it up and protect it from Azumarill first and foremost, and we've got that coverage in the back. You put all that together, that's a recipe for a lot of success in the Great League with this team. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.